Before I start, let me ask you a question. Imagine this is the most delicious bar of chocolate, the one in my hand right now. Would you choose to eat it all at once? Or would you break it down into small pieces and eat it in a week or two? Don't rush to answer. Another question. What if I tell you there's a way to keep fit by doing exercises for 14 hours a day, but only for 4 days? Or what if I tell you there's a way to keep fit by doing exercises for 30 minutes, but on a daily basis? Which one would you choose? I expect that most, if not all of you, have done tests such as lose 15 psychometric charts to see your heart at a glance. When you're answering my question in your mind, you have already done the test. Let me tell you the results. If you choose to eat a whole bar of chocolate at once, you would probably also prefer to do a 14-hour day program, but only for 4 days. If you choose to eat chocolate evenly and separate to eat it every day, you would probably also prefer to do a 30-minute workout, but on a daily basis. I have experimented with both approaches and came to the realization that a long-lasting change requires more patience and persistence, though sometimes not at your best efforts. When I was 2 years old, I was stuck with a serious illness. The doctor told my parents that this girl cannot do much sports in the future. Ever since then, I have used this as an excuse to avoid sports. I felt like I could only be the Beethoven in the area of sports. I learned ballet at the age of 5, but only attended 2 lessons despite practicing for 3 hours per time. I learned golf for 2 years, but I never wanted to practice on my own without a coach. During the lockdown in Shanghai in 2021, with no more than 50 steps a day, I gained 10 kilograms of weight. Even though I was aware that I was getting heavier, but I never cared about it until my dad accidentally said, "You look like this a year ago, but now you look like this." I knew he was not on purpose to knock my self-confidence or to jeer at me, but these words really make me think. Maybe I need to make some changes. To kick off, I needed some information and methods, so I went on social media for help. I started browsing TikTok and Xiaohongshu to see all these fitness celebrities and KOLs teaching people how to keep fit. I had to admit that as a human being with a greedy nature, my eyes were naturally drawn to posts such as lose 15 kilos in 20 days or develop a waistline in 5 steps. I gave them a try and ambitiously set myself a 2-hour workout programming. I set my alarm clock very early in the morning without my parents noticing. Have you ever seen a scene of Shanghai at 4 a.m.? I see it at time every day. As I mentioned before, I never insisted on many things. So I was really proud of myself for being so persistent and hardworking. This is something that I never even imagined before, though I have imagined myself for being the Miss Scarlet of NACIS. So I kept telling myself that the only way to reach my goal and to finally do this is by insisting this intense plan. Keep pushing myself and keep making myself on that way. After 2 weeks of intense aerobic and anaerobic exercises, the good news is that I started to lose weight. However, I also suffered from a lot of side effects. I even talk in my sleep, complaining why I do not want to insist anymore. I kind of like lack of emotional control. I lose hair rapidly. I'm very irritable during the day because of all of these excessive workouts and the lack of sleep. All parents knew the children inside and out. They will come right at the time when you just started to browse your phone and said, "I knew you have been browsing your phone for such a long time. You should put it down and do something else more beneficial, like reading a book." My parents do that too. So when they knew my training plan, they disagreed with it strongly. At the time, I just couldn't believe why they have so many concerns and most of them are future stuffs. Doesn't insist turns out to be success? Why can't they understand me? Oh, they must be jealous of me because they couldn't do that. This kind of disagreements between me and my parents has insisted around 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I found that disagreements between me and my parents are destroying our family harmony, which is something that I do not want to see the most and I'm worried about the most. This made me think, my so-called persistence and willpower. Are they really going to the right direction? Are they really right? Even though I have already lost my trust on social media, I start to browse them again. But this time, not to see these silly KOLs and celebrities doing aerobics, but how to form a good habit and a light yet meaningful routine. To make my attention away from only exercising, I started to read a book called Mini Habits from Stephen Guise. First, let me ask, how many of you have heard about the 21 days to form a new habit theory? You may raise your hand if you have heard of that. Oh, it seems that most of you have heard about it. However, in the book of Mini Habits, Stephen suggests that this 21-day theory could not be rigidly applied. In fact, it is wrong in most situations. This 21-day theory may be originated by Maxwell Maltz, an orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Maltz has found that patients undergoing assumption surgery took about 21 days to adjust to the fact that they were missing a limb. So, he assumes that 21 days is the length for any human beings to adjust to the changes in their life. Let me give you a brief example and you will see why this 21-day theory could only be a slogan. Do you think it would take the same amount of time to form the habit of eating a food capsule every day before breakfast as it would take to form the habit of doing 200 Bobby jumps per day? Definitely not. These more challenging behaviors took even hundreds of days to become habitual. So, I found that what I really need to do right now is to slow down before getting into the big picture and to calm myself down. With this kind of understanding, I reduced my exercising time from 2 hours to 1 hour. Even though 1 hour seems to be a long time, but this is the first and most important step for me. I broke out the vicious cycle of not exercising enough to get results, feeling better not only physically, but also mentally. I started to have the physical strength to move down and unwind the table to save the money for a cup of Starbucks coffee, have more time for various events, putting my eyesight not only exercising, but also on the world. Back then, I wanted to train for 2 hours a day. But even with the help of popular medias, I easily lost my motivation. After all these, I found that there's no point for making a big resolution. There's only resolution without action, which is detrimental to self-confidence. Actually, I had to admit that I do not really want to tell this story to others or to the public. I just want to keep it secret, let it pass, let it rot in the bottom of my heart. However, this stage, this opportunity, and my correct thinking has enabled me to speak out boldly, however embarrassing or stupid it is. I want you all to remember to love yourself and know how to love yourself properly. 80% or even 50% can surely help you develop the right habit. Break the big picture down, and finally, you'll see the countless great achievements coming towards you in these little baby steps. Thank you.